So Jackson's trying to get his mic to get going, but today we have a jam-packed show, and ooh, and now, damn, are we gonna get this? Or can you hear me? Or is this gonna he can't hear me? He can't hear me right now. Jackson, you can't hear me? Let me make sure my mic's in.
I assume you can hear me all fine and dandy. Yeah, of course.
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Why would there be any? Why wouldn't you be able to hear me all fine and dandy? This is fucking crazy, dude. Oh, we're live on air. Oh.
I know we're live. I thought we would be good to go. What's going? Nothing. So as Jackson tries to figure out, I'm also dealing with a crisis of my own. One of my girlfriend's Halloween costumes doesn't fit her. And we're 2 weeks away from Halloween. So that's going to be something I'm going to have to figure out during the show because she's already flipping out. But today we'll be hopefully talking about opening day NBA power rankings, the Kevin Porter Jr. contract extension, the Andrew Wiggins, and Jordan Poole extensions, as well as the Brandon Clark extension and the Nazir Little extension. So those will all be things that we will talk about. And I think it'll definitely be something fun to speak about. Now, we are by ourselves. Like one of my girlfriends, like my girlfriend has 3 costumes. That's why I said it plural. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I mean, it's just annoying. Like, I don't have my mic attached or anything like that. It's just.
You sound beautiful though.
Thank goodness.
At least, I mean, yeah. Thank God you got the beautiful voice because the face isn't helping you. But I'm just kidding. Like my 4th grade teacher, Mr. Hurley, told me, you got to smile for radio.
Yeah. I'm going to do a quick ant check by my feet here, make sure there's no ant.
Dude, the ant station pictures you sent me were fucking disgusting.
Isn't it disgusting? Dude, that was the first thing I saw when I woke up yesterday morning.
Give me 1 second.
All right, so basically, guys, I have no air conditioning, so it's 86 in this bitch. It's 86 degrees out here in Southwest Florida. It's 86 fucking degrees in this apartment. So, if this wasn't live on the air and you could see my face, this shirt would be off, as it's been off all day. And I also had an ant infestation. I sent Cyro a picture. I woke up one day and there were like 10 ants on my bed. I'm like, what the fuck? Why are there all these ants on my bed? And I get up and right by my foot, there's like one of my shirts that was perfectly clean had, I don't know, we'll ask Cyro when he's back, but like it had probably like 200 ants on it. And like these are like the red fuckers too. Like they're like popping in from all these different cracks, and maintenance isn't talking to me, and I'm calling them daily. I'm sending in the requests. So it was a crazy weekend, and it's been one hot fucking day. But I don't know if Cyro did the intro, but I have the first ever regular season of Jeopardy.
You're watching Jeopardy or Jeopardy? Oh, we're talking.
I do love Jeopardy.
I just got into it because of my girlfriend. So let's get right into it. So today we're doing the power rankings, like you just said, and I already said what else we'll do. We'll talk about the extensions, and then we'll also talk about. Really, the extensions is what's the biggest news, and then some Chris Middleton, other small news like housekeeping. But primarily, let's get right into today's video, and we'll be talking about today's stream, and it is Jackson. You want to give your little intro to these?
Oh yeah, so I don't know when I did this in the preseason, but I watched this guy Josh Pate, and he's like the college football dude. I don't watch college football, so I stopped watching Josh Pate, but he does the JP poll, the Josh Pate poll every Monday. So we're going to bring that on in this show. And it's basically, I guess, I want to find a better graphic, and I'm going to find a better graphic so we can have them all on the screen, or at least it's like 6 different slides. But if you watched a couple months ago, you know my preseason ones. And this is the first one of the season. So I think we'll probably actually do it every Monday.
I want to go from 1 to 30.
Do you really?
Yeah, because I feel like it'd be
Why
better
though?
that way. Huh?
But no one will care at 30.
I feel
Actually,
like,
you're probably right.
yeah, for the clip, I think it's better for the clip.
Makes sense. So yeah, that's really it. But it's power rankings. So my power rankings are a little bit different. I do them purely based on power, purely based on your roster, who you got, what I'm expecting from these guys. So yeah, here's the
As of right now, obviously, right? Because
yeah,
like you're doing off of for week 1 power rankings, the way he explained it was this is the best rosters on paper heading into the season. And if you look next to the number 1 or the number rankings from what Jackson has told me, those are going to be up arrows and down arrows, right?
yeah.
The
So yeah, next week, next to previous, it'll have the number by it, and then on the left it'll say up or down arrow.
Yeah. Okay. So going into this, and I think we did it a month or two ago, and I was completely disgusted by your power rankings. I was
Really?
wanted. I mean, we were about half and half together. Some of them I agreed, some I
Mm.
wanted to punch you in the face. But so let's run through these. I'll read them off for any listeners. The Golden State Warriors are ranked number 1. At 2, the Los Angeles Clippers. At 3, it's the Brooklyn Nets. At 4, it's the Philadelphia 76ers. At 5, it's the Milwaukee Bucks. And at number 6 is the Denver Nuggets. So let's hear from the man himself. Why did you put these in order? And right now, I want to say you're an asshole. You put 76ers instead of FPHIL.
Dude, yes, I wasn't quite sure what their abbreviations for that city were. Just wasn't quite
It's
sure. So
PHI.
PHI, I had a feeling. I know, I know. But yeah, to me, Golden State's the team to beat. And also keep in mind, I don't factor in injuries on these unless the guy's out for the entirety of the season. I don't factor, or at least like half of the season. Like Chris Middleton comes back, like he's out for the first couple of weeks, but he'll be back soon. So I don't really have that on this one. So yeah, Golden State's a team to beat, right? So like you're gonna have to take down Golden State. Clippers, I think. I don't know. Cyro's probably in agreement at least that they're in the top 3, I would say. So they have a yeah, see, I think you were feeling the last rankings, but the Clippers are right there. I put Brooklyn all the way up to 3 because I thought that, Ben Simmons, what did he have? What was that stat line? 3 points and 6 fouls in 12 minutes or something like that the other night. Don't worry about that, man. It's preseason basketball. Brooklyn, they'll be just fine. Ben Simmons is going to work perfectly. Philly's down there. They made some unbelievable moves. They're also a really good basketball team. And most importantly, you have a healthy James Harden. So he's going to be in shape. Milwaukee's just rock solid. I think Milwaukee would have made it to the finals if Chris Middleton didn't get injured. And Denver's just a couple of years removed from. I mean, they haven't been healthy in a couple of years, fully healthy in a couple of years, but when they're fully healthy, we saw them almost make the NBA Finals against the Lake Show. That was 2 years ago. That was literally 2 years ago. So they haven't gone anywhere, and they made some unbelievable moves in free agency and just in the offseason in general.
Yeah, so now we just found out Chris Middleton's going to miss the first few weeks of the season. So, like, maybe I put Denver in front of Milwaukee on this just with that news. But yeah, on paper, I think you got to give the defending champs the number one, the number 1 spot until they prove us wrong. And then Los Angeles, we've said it all off season. If this team fully healthy is the best paper, I think we counted it out. This team is 13 players deep before you get to a player that you would say he might not be a starter or a rotational player on any other team. They have 13 guys on this team that on any other roster they would be either starters or rotational players, and I think that's something unbelievable. Now the biggest question mark, the reason why I agree with you can't put them at 1 is health, and you got to give it to the defending champs who they've looked good. The young guys have looked good. There's nothing to be like super, nitpicky with them. And then you go with Brooklyn. If Kevin Durant is what the Kevin Durant that we saw like a year ago, okay, there's nothing to be worried about with that team. And even Kyrie, every time that Kyrie has touched the ball the last 2 years, this is a guy who's basically averaging 30 points and is a fucking God-given talent, okay? And I don't care what people want to say to disparage him. He is a world-class basketball player. And regardless of what you think, Kyrie healthy on the court, which I have talked about this. It's in their best interest that Kyrie plays his best ball because it's the next big contract. It's the last big contract Kyrie can get in his career if he plays, the basketball that he thinks, and then we think he can play, because that's the best way he's going to get paid. If he doesn't, he's not going to get a big paycheck. It's the last time he can get one. KD, it's in his best interest for this to work out. And Ben Simmons, it's in his best interest to continue to to not be hated. He's got to play good. So I think it's in everyone's best interest for the Brooklyn Nets to work, and that's why I think they deserve to be a 3. I mean, they have all the other pieces with Joe Harris, Seth Curry. They brought in, they have Kessler Edwards, but they brought in TJ Warren and a bunch of other guys in free agency that I think it's good. But I think the Sixers might be in front of them, because the Sixers, in theory, might be a better team on paper. But I think
they also had a great offseason.
I think the Brooklyn Nets superstars are better than – I think Kevin Durant and Kyrie are better than James Harden and Joel Embiid. Nothing against Joel Embiid or James Harden. If you told me, okay, if you wanted a 2v2 basketball game, who are you going, Joel Embiid and James Harden, or Kyrie and Kevin Durant? I'm going Kyrie and Kevin Durant, okay, because they're not giving the ball back. Milwaukee and Denver. See, this is how I see. I see Golden State, Los Angeles Clippers, same tier. Brooklyn and the Sixers probably on the same tier, and then Milwaukee and Denver in the same tier. You could even put Brooklyn, the Sixers, Milwaukee, Denver all in their own tier, together. I think there is a gap between the Clippers and the Brooklyn Nets. Like, there is a gap between 2 and 3. Anything else?
Yeah. I mean, I think we'll be – I think Brooklyn's going to be that good. So we'll see. But as of right now, 100%.
Yeah, no, it's definitely something to see. So you want to move over to 7, 8, 9, 10, 11?
Yeah. Are you still sick?
No.
What?
Like, yeah.
You have a guy head?
I have one second.
That's the post-sickness phlegm, I would imagine, and work here. Dude, Kyrie's definitely a dreamer. I love Kyrie Irving. I think he gets it. I think Kyrie gets it. He knows how the world works, and the world doesn't work very right.
I'm like congested. I don't know if it's allergies or whatever, but I got some nasal shit going on with me. But here, let's pull up the next one on this list. That is going to be. I love how you number these not in the correct thing. You change how you want to number them, and it's a fucking fantastic. All right, so you just went to you went to 6. Never mind. So you did this right. I
apologize. Of course they sent out of order.
So now we're over here. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Number 7 in the Jackson Elstro. I might have done a key bumper too. But this weekend. But number 7, it's the Los Angeles Lakers. Number 8, it's the Minnesota Timberwolves. Number 9 is the Boston Celtics. Number 10, it's the Toronto Raptors. 11 is the New Orleans Pelicans. And 12, it's the Cleveland Cavaliers. So, wow.
I don't know if you remember, I had the Lakers 4 or 5 last time.
I know. I mean,
3 or 3.
So the way that I see this right here is every player in this order, in this grouping, I think deserves to be here. There's nothing wrong. Maybe, you could nitpick and put them in a different order, but I think 7 through 12, these are the 7 through 12 best teams in the NBA. The Lakers, Timberwolves, Celtics, Raptors, Pelicans, Cavs. Yeah, I think that's a good list. I think those are definitely behind the first 6. And, the questions surrounding Boston and LA, I think put some here. Now, the other questions surrounding, and then the thing is these are teams that are all trying to be contenders, but they have questions. I think
it's mainly depth questions for me.
It's depth questions and just chemistry questions.
Yeah.
Will the Lakers and the Celtics have enough depth. Will the Timberwolves be able to overcome the perimeter defense? Like really, it's not overcome. How good will the perimeter defense be in the regular season that it won't be some cause of concern in the postseason for the Timberwolves? The Raptors, will the young guys and the new pieces that they didn't really add necessarily many new pieces, but just what they did last year, will they just continue developing? Will there be a jump from this team? The Pelicans, how will they look with Zion Williamson and Dyson Daniels? And the Cavaliers, how will they look with Donovan Mitchell?
Yeah. So I think this list will look completely different. I wouldn't be surprised if it's like the same 6 next week, but I think this list in tier will be completely different next week. Obviously, with the Lakers, you have all these Russell Westbrook questions. I still think that those 2 first-round picks they have are going to be traded at some point, but you can't convince me Russell Westbrook's a bad basketball player. Maybe he's a bad fit. Maybe you can argue that, and maybe I'd listen to a little bit of it because it makes sense from what we saw in preseason. But at the end of the day, it's preseason basketball. The Lakers are missing shooting, but you have Anthony Davis, who
Matt Ryan, baby,
Cole Swider, which are 2 amazing additions. But it's just we'll wait and see. But if your basketball team is LeBron James, Anthony Davis, and Russell Westbrook, you're a powerhouse. You're a powerhouse. Like, you're going to win enough games. They're going to win enough games if they stay healthy. If LeBron and AD play 60 games this season, they will win 50 games. So Minnesota, kind of what you're touching on. I mean, they 46-36 last season was awesome. I do have issues with losing guys like Patrick Beverley, but as far as regular season goes, I think they're going to be really solid. I wouldn't be surprised if they're top 6 next week after we see them play a couple of times. Boston, I don't think people forget Boston was 30-31 halfway through the season last year, but Boston in the first half of the season, or not 20-21, Boston in the first half of the season last year, they're like struggling to make the play-in tournament. So with the coaching stuff going on, their names all in the press, bad publicity, I have huge question marks with Al Horford being able to replicate what he did for them last season, especially in the playoffs. I like the pieces that they got in Brogdon, but I think they went on this crazy ass run last season. I don't think that they'll do it again. I don't think they'll be that's why they're number 9. They're not going to be a worse team than 10, but I don't think they'll be much better than 10. Toronto, I mean, Otto Porter Jr. was a huge move. I have concerns with the backup point guard position. But when we look at their stars/superstars, it's Siakam and Freddie. And I think it's really going to come down to, is OG taking that jump? What's Scotty Barnes' progression going to look like? How's that bench going to be moving? What are the rotations we're going to see? So I think 10 is honestly probably a little bit far-fetched. Like, I think more realistically, they're somewhere around 12 or 13 if you were to look at a real, like athletics power rankings. But I have high hopes for them. The chemistry is nice. New Orleans, question marks surrounding Zion's health, but at the end of the day, CJ McCollum was a huge get. Brandon Ingram's a dog.
It's also the fit with Zion.
Yeah.
Like not that that's a huge concern, because when you have a good player, it's just, I think it's more defense.
Yep.
Like, I don't have a concern offensively how it fit. It's just
100%.
This was a team that the Pelicans, their defense is what carried them to the playoffs. And I mean, obviously their offense, but when you're Zion, you're not going to be, when you have Zion on the floor, it's not going to be the same defensive team, unless like Zion in this background, in the behind the scenes, has bought in defensively and just comes out looking like, an all NBA defensive player.
Yeah. Wouldn't surprise me. Cleveland's a really good team, and I think that by the end of the season they'll be top 10. But for right now, what did they lack in? They lacked in offense, severely lacked in offense. I still need to see a jump from Isaac Okoro. No Ricky Rubio currently for the first half of the season, so that plays a little bit of a factor.
Raul Neto, come on.
Yeah, but Ricky Rubio.
I think the biggest concern is the wing position, which they gave Dean Wade an extension, so the wing position could actually be something that's already it's solid, and like we could be overreacting. But if you had to say what was the weakest position group, it's the backup guard depth and the wing depth. But
I also think Karis LeVert will get traded this season.
I think every team in here deserves to be in 7 through 12. The Lakers, Timberwolves, Celtics, Raptors, Pelicans, and Cavaliers. But I could see one team being swapped in here, and that's the Dallas Mavericks.
Mm-hmm. I think I have Dallas. We'll see on the next slide, but I think I have.
I think
I
I would.
believe it was 15 last time.
So with that, they will move into the next one. But yeah, no, I think Dallas could replace Los Angeles. Like whatever team out of these 7 that we just had, I could see Dallas or Portland being the team that replaces them. That like, or even, I mean, you don't even have Miami there. So there's a lot of teams. I mean, this just goes to show how deep the NBA is this year. But we'll also have to talk about, because I think this week we'll find out who's tanking. Like this is something, and it's not normal for organizations to allude that teams are going to be, attempting to. I don't want to say, yeah, like tank. Like I feel like teams are convinced that the best way for them to have success this coming year might be really to tank. And I'm struggling right now to pull this one up, but we just got it. So where is it? There we go. Sorry, but right here, look at this. We already went through our top 13, and now we just got to at number 13 Miami, at 14 Atlanta, at 15 Dallas, at 16 Phoenix, at 17 Chicago, and at 18 Memphis. All good teams, and these would be right here the 9 best teams in each conference. Basically, I mean, I think there's a little bit more Western Conference teams than, which is normal. The West has always been deeper. More people would rather live on the West Coast than the East Coast or in the Midwest, but I look at this, and you see teams that either kept the same roster or made jumps. Let me hear your reasoning why you had Miami at 13, Atlanta at 14, Dallas at 15, the Suns at 16. I was trying to fight that sneeze for like halfway through that. The Suns at 16, the Bulls at 17, and the Grizzlies at 18. Let me hear why you had that, and then I'll give my reaction.
So I think, and you'll probably think this too, this is the one that'll get people going, I would imagine, because I have some takes here. I mean, I'm going to lump Miami and Phoenix in the same thing here. I mean, these were kind of almost powerhouses in the last couple of years. I don't think Kyle Lowry is the same Kyle Lowry. I don't think Chris Paul is going to be the same Chris Paul. They'll still be good, especially in the regular season, but dude, I mean, the whole Phoenix drama concerns me, but I'll start at Miami. The reason Miami's up there is you have plenty of star-studded players, Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo, and Tyler Hero. I guess I'll throw him in there as well. But, depth. I just think that they've lost their window, or maybe that's the wrong word choice, not lost their window, but I think that they need to make some adjustments either as the season goes on with Duncan Robinson, or by the end of the season, at the end of the season, the off season. All 6 of these teams, I wouldn't be surprised if they were significantly better or significantly worse. I think Miami, I'm not going to go as far as say they're a playing team, but I think they're around that cusp. Atlanta's really good. They made some good moves, but my concerns are defensively. It's just defensively. So we'll wait and see with that. Dallas, you can't count out Luka. I think Zach Lowe chose Christian Wood as 6th man of the year. That's fair. I don't think Christian Wood would be on the bench for very long because he's a dynamic scorer. I mean, he's a 20-point per game scorer. Even off the bench, he's a 20-point per game scorer. I don't think you can keep him on the bench for long. And even if he is coming off the bench, JaVale's not seeing more than 20 a night. So Dallas is one of those teams where 52-30 last season. Jalen Brunson was a big loss, but Spencer Dinwiddie was a big gain. We'll see what happens with Jaden Hardy. I wouldn't be surprised if Josh Green breaks out. I feel like they're middle of the pack right now until I see a little bit more. Phoenix, kind of what I was talking about. I have huge concerns for Phoenix. That's why they're at 16. I think they're a playing team this year. Same thing goes for Memphis. I don't have long-term issues or concerns with either basketball team, but I think that Memphis isn't going to hit 56 this year, in my opinion. I don't think Phoenix will hit 60. I think Memphis more so low 50s would be generous for me, which I wouldn't be surprised with. Some people are already questioning Ja Morant's fit. So Chicago, no Lonzo Ball. I was listening to an athletic podcast earlier today that has Chicago as the 10th seed. I wouldn't be shocked, but I really don't think that'll happen. I think that Andre Drummond, Goran Dragic were two huge additions for the bench. It's going to come down to when's Lonzo coming back? How's Lonzo look? And also, is DeMar DeRozan going to be the same DeMar DeRozan?
So let me react to this. Okay. I'm going to go backward, guys. Memphis. Every time I make a Memphis video, I'm surprised that the Ja Morant not sucks, but is a detriment to the team. It has gotten louder. It started in the playoffs, but I swear the rhetoric for people saying that, like, I don't believe it. I think the team's better with Ja Morant, but they're like, the offense is completely different when Ja's on the floor. All right. But I think Memphis, it comes down to how the young guys that they're expecting to take a jump, Zaire Williams, Desmond Bane, who's already taken a jump, but really just solidifying his play, John Conchar, Santi Alabama, Brandon Clark just got an extension. We'll talk about him later. And just the rest of the team. So those are the question marks. That's why I understand they're at 18. Chicago, they were the best team in the league before Lonzo got hurt. What was it? I said 30 and like 11 or something like that, or 21 and 10.
Yeah, 21-10, something
in the first 30 games, something absurd. And if DeMar's the same guy, if everyone's the same guy except for Lonzo and Ayo Dosunmu, Dalen Terry, and Goran Dragic all, make an impact, and then Andre Drummond make an impact, I don't see no reason why this team can't be, the 10th best team in the league or one of the best teams in the Eastern Conference. And then when Lonzo comes back, they're just going to be even better. They're a team with a plethora of riches. I just think the question is defense and how will everything fit, and will everyone be, will Vooch be able to look like the guy he was 2 years ago when they traded for him? Because people don't realize that Vooch actually had a down year last year. Like,
he looked good in preseason.
Yeah, he did look good in preseason. Looks like he really took care of his body this year. And he's also a guy who can actually play defense. So it's just getting the team to buy in right there. Suns, I think there's more questions with the Suns. When you're a top team for so many years, there is a time when you take that fall. And I think that time is nigh. Not that I don't believe in Chris Paul. I just feel like, and Chris Paul has beat, Father Time for a long time. I just think it comes down to, is DeAndre Ayton that guy? Not a lot of teams thought so. Okay. No one really wanted to offer him that guy type money. And it seems like the Indiana Pacers only did it because they didn't have anybody else to offer money to. And they kind of just thought, like, hey, we either get him or we just fuck over the Suns. And like Dallas could be really freaking good. They could be just as good as the last year. They could be better. I mean, I don't doubt anything with Luka Doncic. It's just, will the lost Jalen Brunson be that big? I don't think so. I think this team is good. And they got myself Facundo Campazzo, mi primo, mi hermano de Argentina. He signed to
They
me.
officially signed Facu?
Facu, yeah. He flew over this weekend? He flew over this weekend, hung out in Dallas, met everyone. And then they announced this weekend that he was going to sign today or tomorrow. He passed his physical today, and he has officially signed. He is a Dallas Maverick as an hour ago.
Wow.
Yeah. And it's like my video popped off. I have so many people from Argentina talking in there.
Nice. Let me check it.
Yeah. If you look at it, it's all people speaking in Spanish, and I'm like responding some of the comments in Spanish. They're all like Argentines. So Facundo Campazzo, we got ourselves Spencer Dinwiddie, we got yourself Luka Doncic. I really like the Dallas Mavericks, and I think they're a little higher if I had to do my own power rankings. I just think as long as you have Luka Doncic, it's kind of like Nikola Jokic. I don't get why, Nikola Jokic got the respect like that. And we're like, every year, as long as Nikola Jokic is on this team, people are like, they're a contender. But now still, even though Luka's here, people don't give Luka that credit when he's just as good, if not, potentially could be a better player. I know he's a few years younger. Atlanta, I think Atlanta's team's another team that should be higher. I just personally think they're at a good spot right here because I love DeJounte Murray. I love Trae Young. The questions are the depth on this team, and then Clint Capella, if he's the same guy he's always is, that's fine. But we need John Collins and DeAndre Hunter to really be, because this team has a starting lineup that should be a championship caliber starting lineup if everybody was hitting their potential. But it's just fulfilling that. And then Miami, it's just beating Father Time. They're running back the same squad for year 4 now.
in a minute.
So it's will this work? Now let's move over to the next power ranking, and that is 1 second. I hate when my computer does this. Like, because I have dual monitors, it's just like, oh, you want to switch monitors? I'm like, no, not really, but like, I guess we are. So,
Matt, let me know because I'm not on my phone's charging for tonight. I'm leaving soon.
where are you leaving?
It's my league tonight. So
Oh
I'll be
yeah,
gone.
our league.
No, that league too, but my golf league.
Did you like my league's name?
Yeah.
On Miles Bridges' defense team, bro.
That league's gonna be really freaking fun, dude. We're looking at 14 people here. 8 make the playoffs. I'm glad you joined.
Well, yeah, it's gonna be. I'm gonna have to be in my fraternity chapter filling out the draft. Now we're over here on numbers 19, 20, 21, 22, and 23 and 24. 19 being the Portland Trailblazers, 20 being the New York Knicks, 21 being the Sacramento Kings, 22 being the Washington Wizards. Fuck you. 23 being the Detroit Pistons, and 24 being the Orlando Magic. And you can go fuck yourself for all of these. Let me tell you why. Okay, Portland. I think they're deserving of being higher. I would. Oh, dude, it's so hard. You want to put people out. I just think Damian Lillard's his last time getting an MVP chance, and the rosters around him is probably one of the better rosters he's had in like years. So maybe I think Portland's a team that could surprise people. I think the Knicks, yes, they got themselves Jalen Brunson, but they kind of also like gutted the roster to get him in terms of defensive players. So there's so many questions with the defense right here. Sacramento Kings. They're another team like the Portland Trailblazers that could just freaking surprise you and be like a solid, like top 6 seed. Mike Brown's making this team looking like they play defense. Domantas Sabonis is an All NBA caliber player. Same thing with De'Aaron Fox. Harrison Barnes and Keegan Murray look like studs on the wings. Washington, another team that could surprise you. I think Kristaps Porzingis, Kyle Kuzma, and Bradley Beal are going to be on some revenge type shit tour. Rui Hachimura is either going to be the starting small forward or the 6-man candidate for them. And then they got Will Barton, Monte Morris finally got a point guard since John Wall left. And then the Pistons and the Magic, they're in the same boat. These are two teams that could be surprise playing team. I think the Magic are a little farther ahead in the rebuild in terms of the amount of veterans and just talent they have on the roster. But I think the Detroit Pistons have a higher ceiling, and just, obviously Cade Cunningham's going to be an MVP player. So, and it all comes down to, for Detroit, will Cade Cunningham take that jump and to, all NBA level, or he's just going to be an all-star this year? And Orlando, are the vets ready to help the young guys play like the Memphis Grizzlies? Let me hear your thoughts.
Starting to drip and sweat from this 86-degree house.
Why is it 86? You have no AC?
I had no AC all weekend. It's a sauna in here, dude. I'm dripping. It's going to be a long-ass night.
Get a fan.
I have 2 fucking fans in here, bro. It's just blowing hot air. It's blowing 86 degree temperature air. So all 6 of these teams, kind of as you alluded to, I mean, all of them can be higher. With Portland, the only reason I think Portland will be better. The thing is, the NBA is really good right now. The top of the NBA is really good. So on paper, that's where my concerns lie with all 6 of these teams is on paper. I don't think that they have, that's why Portland's 19. They have the superstar in Damian Lillard. But on paper, they're going to need some guys to step up. I think their guys will step up. It's just on paper. Same thing applies for New York and Sacramento. On paper, they're not the most powerful teams, power rankings. But I think New York, Sacramento, and Portland will all be better than anticipated. With Washington, my concerns lie with pure health, dude. It's just pure health. I have concerns with Kristaps. I have concerns with even Bradley Beal. So they also will be a team that they'll probably be a little bit better, but the NBA is really good. How good are they? We'll see. Detroit and Orlando, I think the Bogdanovich trade made me go a little bit higher on Detroit, but same thing with both of these teams. I have concerns with Orlando's point guard role, as you tweeted earlier today, Markelle Fultz, former first-round pick. I just need to see all this stuff in action, and the NBA is really good. They're lacking the superstar players. Cade Cunningham, Paolo Banchero probably evolving superstars in the next couple of years, but just for right now, there's a lot of teams that are on paper really good, and they're getting there. All 6 of these teams are getting there.
Yeah, no, I think these are all teams that are going to be in the play. Like the next teams that we're going to see are definitely teams that are going to be tanking. And I think it's definitely something that's interesting as all hell because I like I think when you look at this team, okay, and I think it's just something that you think about. All these teams are trying to fight to make the push. They all have questions. Will Portland, the new additions, make it? New York, the defense. Sacramento, everything. Washington, the new additions, and basically, will the offense work? Because and like, can they hold up defensively? Detroit and Orlando, can they make the jumps? I think these are the teams that I think the other ones they had questions. These are the teams that they're unknowns.
Mm-hmm.
Now let's move over to the next ones, and that's going to be the final countdown.
Gonna get some Mad Rocket fans here.
Huh?
I'm gonna get some Mad Rocket fans here.
I mean, the Mad Rockets fans, they should just know their team fucking sucks. I'm just fucking kidding. But over here, we have the last teams at number 25. We have the Houston Rockets. At 26, the Indiana Pacers. At 27, the Utah Jazz. At 28, the Charlotte Hornets. At 29, the Oklahoma City Thunder. And at 30, the winners of the Victor Wembanyama sweepstakes, the San Antonio Spurs.
Well, maybe because lottery might feel a little bit different.
They're going to just say after like one game, Keldon Johnson's going to drop 30. And they're going to be like, by the way, Keldon Johnson, he has a mysterious knee injury that's going to keep him out for the rest of the year. And they're just going to see him dressed up the whole time and like not look hurt the whole time. Or maybe they just wrap his head up and say he's going through chemo, but he doesn't really have cancer. That's a bad joke. That's just a bad joke.
That was what people called on my golf team. That's what people called me. My golf coach my freshman year asked if I had leukemia because all freshman year I rocked a buzz cut.
They should have called you Caillou.
That was it.
Yeah, what's up, Caillou?
That was it. So all 6 of these teams are being real. All 6 of them should tank. All 6 of them should tank. For reality. I mean,
it's not should they need to tank.
They should all 6 of these teams should tank. I think Houston's very close, but especially once Eric Gordon's gone, they're gonna have trouble closing. They're gonna have trouble winning. I mean, they're gonna have all 6 of these teams are gonna have trouble winning in general. So I think Houston's looking pretty good. I think they're a little bit more. I like their depth a lot more than like Indiana right now with guys like Tari Eason. I think Tari Eason's just a stud. Jayshawn Tate contributes greatly to winning. Indiana, Miles Turner and Buddy Hield will be gone in a couple months, probably 2 months max. They'll be gone. By Christmas, they'll be gone. So Benedict Mathurin, very good basketball player. Tyrese Halliburton, very good basketball player. But they're lacking that power. So Utah, I think, is a little bit better than people give them credit for. I think Taylor Horton Tucker's about
Danny Ainge. If Danny Ainge in the first week of the season sees his team win and go like 6-6, Larry Markkinen traded. Every single person who's playing trade well is just out. They're going to be like, Jared Vanderbilt's going to go out and grab like 10 offensive rebounds, and Danny Ainge is going to come over, tap on his shoulder, and be like, what the fuck are you doing? He's like, you see an offensive rebound? Let that shit sail out of bounds. He's like, we're not trying to win here. We are trying to lose, boys. He's like, if you guys play winning basketball, that's your first ticket out of Salt Lake City. And a bunch of those boys are going to be doing that.
That's my thing with Indiana, Utah, and Charlotte. It's like, all right, Buddy and Miles, like, we're 6-6. That's too many wins. Like, we can't have this. Random injury. Utah, same thing. Mike Conley, you're a great veteran leader. Injury. Charlotte, LaMelo Ball, you are a rising superstar in this league, but
your team fucking sucks.
Mason Plumlee's your starting center. Mason
Plumlee could be a starting center for the Warriors, and they would still win the championship. Don't deck on my man Mason Plumlee. It's more Gordon fucking Hayward.
If your starting center is Mason Plumlee, like, you're not winning basketball games. Sorry, Mason. So they're gonna tank.
The Warriors won with Fetus Azalea.
He was good, dude. I'm not saying Mason.
Where he's at now.
I'm not saying Mason's bad, but in the grand scheme of things, like Charlotte's like worse than purgatory right now. Like they're like you need to not even you don't need to rebuild. You need to tank first season, get a high draft pick. And while you do that, we need to see guys like James Bouknight. We need to see guys like Kelly Oubre, PJ Washington, McDaniels, JT Thor, Kai Jones. They have a lot of young guys that they need to prioritize over, Gordon Hayward. So I don't think they'll win much. And OKC, Sacramento, I think both of those two teams, they're just severely lacking the power. So not bad basketball teams necessarily, but they're lacking the power.
I feel bad. Fetus Ezeli, he suffered like a knee injury and he was out of basketball for 5 years and he's still like hurt. Was Fetus Ezeli supposed to be Kevon Looney?
I guess so.
First off, Charlotte, I think Charlotte needs to embrace it. And let's just blow this team up. Let's just offer teams Gordon Hayward. I don't even know who you could get. Just be like, hey, Cavaliers, we'll send you a pick or two. Send us Kevin Love's expiring contract and take Gordon Hayward's. I know that would never happen, but try to find a team. Maybe San Antonio's the last team I could really think of, or Indiana. Really, Indiana. Like if they trade with Indiana, it's because they're not trying to tank. Charlotte could get out of this. If they make the right moves.
Mm-hmm.
But I personally think let's embrace it. Let's get the nice guy next to him or get a top pick so we can trade that top pick for a good player. I agree. These are the worst teams in the NBA, especially Charlotte now that we don't even know. Also, wait, hold up. In Miles Bridges' court case, it's Wednesday?
Oh, yeah.
James Bouknight just got arrested for a DUI. DWI.
Oh, yeah, all right.
DWI. It means he was either okay, so
we shouldn't have been doing that.
Okay. It's either he got pulled over and he blew a 0.7. Okay, right now Miles Bridges' court case is right now. It's happening now. And let's see. Also, I thought LiAngelo Ball made the roster, but he was the last cut.
Yeah. Pat Spencer got cut too.
I know, that was depressing. I think everyone was just like, did Charlotte just get a bunch of like idiots? Like seriously.
I mean, Charlotte's a great city. Not too much nightlife going on in the state of North Carolina. Probably got to find other ways to have fun.
Wait, hold up. We're trying to figure out.
Charlotte's a good city. Charlotte's a great city.
I've been to Charlotte once. Charlotte's a nice city. It's pretty. Their airport's fucking dope.
It really is.
It's a mall. The Charlotte airport is a fucking mall. Okay, dude, you can get hammered at the Charlotte airport.
And you know what? People sleep on. I don't know if you've been to Detroit's airport. It's my favorite airport on the planet. It is a freaking museum. I got drunk there. I had a layover because there was a storm. I went to like 3 different bars. It's awesome. I'm bar hopping the Detroit airport.
Somebody tweeted James Bouknight and Miles Bridges in prison, and it's a video of Shaq and Kobe.
Oh no.
So free agent Miles Bridges has been dismissed from all felony charges. Oh wait, no, this is from a Woj.
Oh. Well, true, Thomas, but
you want to see James Bouknight's fucking mugshot? You boys ready?
Yeah.
You ready? Drum roll, please. Drum roll, fucking please.
I don't really I'm not rooting for this, so I'm not giving a drum roll. I want to see the mugshot, but I'm not happy about it. He's a superstar. Pay him. Can somebody?
Oh damn! They got him in the orange shirt already. He got booked at 1:51 a.m. on a Sunday night.
Damn, night was just starting.
So, I'm not going to really speak on it because I don't know what happened, and they haven't really said what has happened, and it sucks. Okay, and yeah, he was arrested at 1:51. His bond was $2,500. He was driving while impaired, and nothing so far about his arrest. but it seems like I don't know the area, but the statement that they released was Bouknight was looking to have a bounce back year after struggling to play. Wait, no, that's not the statement. The statement is we are aware of the incident involving James Bouknight. We are in the process of gathering additional information. We will have no further comment at this time. So they kind of just, wash their hands of it. But let's go over here. I wanted to see if Miles Bridges, if there's any, news on him, because let's go over here, latest. So right now, doesn't look like there's anything. Let's see on the top. We'll do Pirtle next. So Miles Bridges' latest hearing is scheduled for today. The Detroit Pistons.
I saw that a while ago.
I
don't
doubt
have
that they
faith in
are.
reports on that, yeah.
They probably were at first. You know what I mean? So
And a tough off season for sure.
Literally, they said they literally copy and pasted and then deleted Miles Bridges and replaced it with James Bouknight. But doesn't look like they've said anything.
The LeBron tweet. Oh god, dude.
In the North Carolina prison. Look at this. NBA Hall of Fame bag fumblers. Miles Bridges, 5-year, $173 million. Dennis Schroeder, 4-year, $80. Victor Oladipo, 4-year, $112. Nerlens Noel, 4-year, $70. Nerlens is bad because that's actually Rich Paul's fault.
Dennis Schroeder and Oladipo really messed those ones up. Dennis Schroeder especially.
Yeah, Dennis Schroeder really did. Let's refresh it, see if anything else has happened. Yeah, it doesn't look like anyone's tweeted. That's important. That the court case. And all right, so okay. So right now it's being Miles Bridges, his qualifying offer expired, but they can still match or offer him a contract if wanted. It's just that there's no qualifying offer him to get. So yeah, there's nothing on Miles Bridges right now on Twitter, which means his case might be currently happening.
Yeah.
So we'll find out. Of course, most of the news either happens right before the show goes live or like a 5 minutes after we end it. Like half the time, news will break and we will have just ended the show. Yeah, I was gonna say TP. He might, because there's so usually when you get pulled over for a DUI or driving while impaired, it's usually said in the document, like in the articles, like what he blew. So he either denied blowing, he denied blowing into a breathalyzer, or he was, off pills or lean or, high as fuck off weed, because he does look high as hell in the video. So, but you can also look high as hell when you're drunk.
Yeah.
So he either, decided not to blow anything. He either was off pills. Because don't get me wrong, like you can still get a DUI if you're off pills. I have a few, not friends anymore, but kids I used to be friends with or acquaintance with that got DUIs because they got pulled over being off some Xannies or some perks, and they just fell asleep. Literally, cop pulls them over, and they were asleep within 2 minutes, or like fell asleep at stoplights. Pulled Michael Floyd.
Oh my goodness.
I fell asleep at a stoplight once. Somebody honked. I woke up, then drove to my sister's house, bought 3 tabs of acid, watched the 24 episodes straight of Neon Genesis Evangelion, and then an anime from the 90s. And
that show's hard to process when you're sober.
And then I drove at 7 a.m. to get a bagel from a local bagel shop, and I bumped into
shit.
Yeah, dude, bagel shops are everywhere. There's no bagel shops in the Midwest. It fucking pisses me off. I can go to a local Jewish bagel place like 5 minutes every corner. Love bagels. Like live off bagels. There's one bagel shop, and it's a fucking Einstein Bros. It's the only bagel shop in a 30-mile radius, and Einstein Bros fucking suck. I want some Jew bagels. Okay?
Can't disagree.
Dude, I
time
went and saw
did
the
Zans,
first.
I ate a 12 box of Chewies in one sitting.
Dude, the Zanchies. The Zanchies will get you.
Brutal. I smoked
Zan-
weed in a girl's dorm bathroom on accident.
I've done wild
think-
shit off of Zans, but
You never know. That's the thing too.
I went and saw the new Star Wars #7 when it came out in the movie theater off of 2 tabs of acid. And have you seen the new Star Wars?
Fuck no, dork.
I haven't seen 8 or 9. I'm not a fucking dork.
I'd rather stare at a wall for 3 straight hours.
Either way, I went and saw it on 2 tabs of acid, and I had a bottle of seltzer that I was drinking, and I'm tripping balls watching the movie. It's like I kept going, and some guy taps on my shoulder. You mind, buddy? And I'm like, I'm sorry. And then tripping balls, and I open it, and then I whisper to my friends, and Han Solo is about to like shake Kylo Ren's hand, and basically Kylo Ren looks like he's about to like come to the good side, and I whisper to my friend, he's about to kill him, and then he kills Han Solo, and everyone gasps. I die of laughter. I'm like,
Star Wars. That was the big spoiler when that Star Wars came out. Was that Han Solo dies? I remember that. That's that is
it's a white guy.
That's Larry Nance Jr. We should do a stream where we take some acid. Whenever you move on down, we'll do an acid stream.
I don't really trip anymore because a year ago I tripped and I ate a cube of shrooms and I just had like a really intense.
No fucking shit.
I've also eaten half an ounce of shrooms, puked my brains out. I also puked my brains out during the cube of shrooms, but I've also taken 10 hits of acid at once by accident. I've done like a bunch of psychedelics. Like I blacked out, thought I died in Iraq and was flown back. No. I'm just saying.
I'm done with those drugs for a while. Maybe always. Oh, let's go. Wait, can you get rid of Thomas's chat? Because I can't see shit. Yeah.
Okay.
What do we know here? He's older than
he's older than 28. He's shorter than 6'11", but he's taller than 6'7". He's a forward. He's in the Southwest. I'm a fucking moron. Oh, I know who this is. I'm going one more guess. Older than 29.
Yes.
He's 6'10".
Yes.
It's Mike Muscala.
No, it's not. What team is he even on?
I don't know. Yeah, so he's 6'10". He's in the Southwest, which is New Orleans, Thunder, Dallas, Houston, San Antonio. He's 6'10". His jersey number is higher than 27. He's old in his 30s. But he's 6'10", and he plays the forward position.
Does Mike Muscala play forward? All right. So what we're gonna do next game is you're gonna guess once, and I'm gonna go 3 straight times. And I'm also gonna take my sweet freaking time because now it's 4.5 to 1/2. So,
you're just not good. You're just not fucking good.
I'll be. My mindset's not in the right place today. I want a shirt on.
Let's wrap up the show with talking about the extensions. We'll start off with Kevin Porter Jr. They gave him only 1 year guaranteed, so they can move on from this fuck whenever they want. I'm just kidding.
Fuck you.
He's not a fuck. I know I just call him a fuck, but he's not a fuck. Okay, he's a good guy. Good man. This guy. Okay. And he averaged 18. But the cool thing about his contract is they're giving him the opportunity to be the starter in the future. But at the same time, in 2 years, when the TV deal kicks in, his contract is going to be like worth nothing. And then you have yourself over here the possibility of easily trading him because he's only making like in the teens. He's like making what they gave him 82 mil. So that's basically $26 million a year. And like it's not guaranteed. 4 years. So it's 26. Was that? Wait,
like,
no.
It's 20.2, I believe, or 20.3.
It's 20.5, but the first year's 15 only. So it's like 20. It's like backloaded.
Oh,
so
I see. Yeah, like a football contract.
Yeah. So it's the first year's like only 15.3 or 15.8 guaranteed. And then all the other years are not guaranteed. So they can cut him or they could trade him because he'll be a tradable asset because they could use him to fill salary and then trade him to a team. And then a team could cut him, kind of like how Danilo Gallinari was utilized because the Spurs waived him. So I think this is a good deal all around. It's a win for everyone.
Yeah, it's the perfect deal. Both parties win here. KPJ's betting on himself.
And if Ty's the starter, this is perfect 6-man money.
Yeah, like if that were to come up, but I think we're a couple of years from that. Yeah, I think that also $20 million is kind of the new 15 with the new money. So this is like a steal, actually, in my opinion. Keeps money open, keeps it flexible with Rafael Stone, and all these new GMs love it too. They love being flexible, as you should. And I think that this contract will probably you'll start seeing a lot more of these.
Because two things could happen. That KPJ ends up playing like the guy that he was in the last 22 games of the season, 19 points per game, 18.9 to be specific, 7 assists, 5 rebounds, a steal and a half a game. Like, if he's that guy, fuck yeah, you got your point guard of the future. If he ends up not being that guy and he's more of a 6-man, you just tell him, hey, you don't have to pass the ball 7 times a game. You only need to pass it 3 or 5 times a game. Just come in and score 20 points off the bench. And if that doesn't work, you just cut him. I think it just works out that like they gave themselves multiple options. You either become a star, you either be our starting point guard, you become our 6-man, or we move on. And it gives them it's the flexibility, and I think that's the best thing. I think this deal's a win-win. KPJ got his money. I mean, people forget KPJ was a lottery talent. He was a lottery pick, but it's I think his attitude's gotten in check. I think there's still some, he sometimes has some boilovers, but from my understanding, Kevin Porter Jr. had a rough childhood, rough upbringing. Yeah. So, and when it comes to that's a mental health thing, and I will never hold that against anyone. That's just personal shit that he's probably very much aware that that's something that he has to work through. And I liked it. Any last thoughts before we get to the next contract?
No.
Nazir Little or Brandon Clark?
Oh, good shit.
All right, let's do Brandon Clark because we'll do these last two to wrap up the episode. And right here, so Brandon Clark got himself 4 years, $28 million. Correct me? No, not 4 years, 20. No, my apology. That's Nazir Little's deal. 4 year, $28 million. They gave him 4 year, 56, I believe it was.
Nice.
I want to make sure I say this correctly. 4 years. They gave him
4
years, 52. 4 years, 52. And that's a great contract. They're only paying him, $13 million a year, basically, 26 each 2 years. And I said this, they just locked up their future front court. They got Steven Adams for 2 more years. They extended him on a cheap, like 16 mil per year. So eventually the front court's probably going to be Santi Aldama and Jaren Jackson Jr. And then Brandon Clark will be like the 3-guy backcourt, because I assume maybe they'll extend Xavier Tillman, but I feel like Xavier Tillman might be the odd man out because David Roddy, Kenneth Lofton, and Jake LaRavia. So eventually the 3 guys who are going to be the rotation of the front court in the future when Steven Adams moves on, it's going to be Brandon Clark's probably going to be back up. Even if he doesn't develop a jump shot, he'll be able to come in for either Santi or Jaren Jackson Jr. because both of them can shoot 3. So when Brandon Clark comes in, Clark will always be the backup center. Then Jaren Jackson will probably move to power forward, or Santi will move to power forward. So they just locked up their front court, because if Santi's who we think he is and who I believe he's going to be, then they got Santi and Jaren Jackson Jr. as the future starting power forward and center duo. And then Brandon Clark's that guy who comes in 20, 25 minutes a night whenever Santi needs to sit or Jaren Jackson needs to sit. They always leave one on the floor and bring in Clark. And that'll be the future. But right now, Clark will be the primary backup for Steven Adams. and I like this deal.
I think they're setting their future up perfectly as they already were to especially go out and get another star.
Exactly, because like
cut loose Dylan and Steven, which I think will happen this year.
I think Steven was just recently extended, so I think we got one more of Steven, but I think Dylan Brooks, they would move on from him unless they could get a good deal. Because I feel like they're going to keep Danny Green around, and if they like Danny Green's vibes, they just re-sign Danny Green, and Danny Green can do what Dylan Brooks does, and Cyro Williams is going to take that jump, and they have Desmond Bain, and they've already re-signed, Jaren Jackson. I know, but he's a good depth guy, and I think Dylan Brooks
be the guy.
Yeah, that's what I'm also thinking. Zaire is going to be the guy. And Dylan Brooks' contract, expires, but they could also give him an extension. And they just gave John Conchar, and Steven Adams extensions this offseason. Jaren Jackson Jr. and John Morant got theirs. I mean, Brandon Clark's a guy averaging 11.6 rebounds in 22 minutes a night, and he's going to be playing a bigger role. So I think this is a good pickup. And also, it's just been announced that no rookie extensions for these players. So these are the players that did not get rookie extensions were Cam Johnson of the Phoenix Suns, Charlotte Hornets PJ Washington, and Boston Grant Williams. All are headed to restricted free agency this coming summer. Now, let's move on to the last guy to wrap up this.
I think all those are fair.
Yeah, I agree.
So for the players, but from the team side.
Yeah, Cam Johnson, we don't know what he is. PJ Washington, I like him, but we don't know what his value is. And the same thing, Grant Williams. We kind of established his value last episode, and I think he just doesn't want to believe that's what he's worth, so he's probably betting on himself. Mm-hmm. And this is a quick one. They gave Nazir Little, Jayshawn Tate money, 4 years, $28 million. I thought that was a great deal, and it kind of just tells us who Nazir Little is. He's going to be a solid rotational role piece who could develop into a starting, wing player, but he's a player who is viewed as a similar player as Jayshawn Tate, PJ Tucker, Royce O'Neal, and Jay Crowder, multi-positional, defenders who could even, moonlight as small ball fives, but primarily they're small ball stretch fours and wings who are solid defensive players and more essentially glue guys who are willing shooters.
Great move.
And great move.
Starter, great depth piece. He just trustworthy with him starting. You feel trusted with him off the bench. Guys you want long term.
Yeah, and he's somebody that, who still has room for improvement. He's a freak athlete. And I think this just comes down to he's just had to fight the injury bug throughout his career. And people forget he was a late first-round pick. So, he's just developed well. And I think it's just somebody that we're going to have to see with more and more time how he'll take that jump. Because right now, if you look at Nazir Little, nothing against him. But, last year he played 26 minutes a night and he averaged 9.8 points, 6 rebounds, 1.5 assists, a little over half a steal and a block a game. And I think that's his floor. And if he can, in the next 4 seasons, build from that and become, like a 15, 14 points per game scorer, he's going to see himself get, a 60, 70, $80 million contract the next time around. And this deal he's going to be 26, 27 when he hits free agency again. So I think this is something that worked out well. It was a good deal for old parties. And it's just, was very nice. Anything else?
Nope.
All right. That's today's episode, guys. We'll be back tomorrow we'll do some bets. We're going to start doing NBA betting. We'll start spending the first 5 minutes of every show doing NBA lines. I'm just going to spend today setting up how to do that in the most productive way possible while also providing you guys graphics so you can visually see it. Besides that, it's going to be a great kickoff. We got 2 previews tomorrow. We'll also do predictions for those games when we go over the bets. But besides that, if you guys did enjoy today's show, be a friend, tell a friend, go check out all of Jackson's socials and his channels. But besides that, I think that's everything. Am I right?
Uh-huh.
All right. Be a friend, tell a friend. And if you missed the episode,
20 friends because I'm a friend. So you all should do that too.
All right. Peace, bud.
So, yeah.